Good day to you. So today I thought I would do a little something different. Have some tips and tricks on how to save a pretty roughly damaged pop box here. So as you can see, my friend Green Lantern there over the side, he's got a lot of glare on him, but basically going to show you how to just manipulate the boxes a little bit, and a couple tricks that I've made up, I guess, on the way. Sometimes you buy a big pile of pops, and some of them are pretty squishy. So yeah, here you go. So hang tight here, and we'll switch over, and I will show you the setup. So first, actually, I should probably get into it really quickly here. Gonna need a few things. I'm going to need, I can't show you it. It's already plugged in. Is a standard iron, clothes iron for good old-fashioned ironing your shirts. I like to have some sort of towel to put down so you're not burning surfaces. It also gives you a little bit of padding to put some pressure into when you're actually trying to do some of the work there. And beyond that, good sturdy surface and a mindful eye. So hang tight here. We'll switch over to the other screen here where I can show you a little bit. Alright, so there you go. That was a little bit... Anyway, I'll get better at this as we go. But now the microphone is going to be a little bit quieter for now, so I'll try to do my best to speak directly into it. So what I like to do is get a towel laid out first so you have somewhere to work on. Obviously you're going to want to have your nice hot iron. I've had mine on for, I don't know, a good while now because I have been trying to set this up. You'll want to do the initial debox this guy here and see what's really wrong with him. If you look at this box though, I mean, it's basically bubbled out everywhere. Every single panel on this is very, very curved. I'll try to demonstrate this. There you go. It's a great angle to see it on. There you go, some of the box damage to this fella here. And this is why I picked him, because he's probably one of the worst things I've got in my whole house at this point. And he's a really cool pop, so I'd like to try to save him somewhat. I don't ever expect it to be perfect, but I'll show you what we can do here in a moment. So again, let's first de-shell this guy, get him out of his box. I like to open both sides at once before and then figure out which way he's going to maneuver easier. In this case, neither way is that easy, so we'll get him out. We'll just get him right out of the way here because he's no longer going to be part of this, realistically. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to try to locate the glue edge, which should be this side here without the extra window in it. I should show you a bit better. Sorry. So yes, you should try to locate the glue edge, which you'll be able to tell indicatively by the fact that there's actually a cardboard. You can tell. I mean, it's very obvious. So next, you're going to want to grab your iron. Test my heat real quick by just giving her a little check on the old. Nice. It's nice and warm in my case here. So next, I'm simply going to very carefully, because there is a plastic window that resides underneath this side. So what I'm going to do is very carefully run along the back here. I'm going to run along the edge and basically until the glue lets go, which shouldn't be terribly long in my experience. It's going to be different in every box, of course. There's a certain point where you can just feel it let go and you can kind of just give it a tug and it should let go. I like to initially start a corner to know that it's kind of working and or the temperature that it's working at. Underneath here, realistically, it's just hot glue, and that's why it lets go. This one's had water damage as well, though, this box, so it may have a few extra points to it that are an issue. In this case, I'm going to get a little bit aggressive with this box just because it is very, very damaged as it is. But anyways, working from side to side here, trying to get it to let go. Just put this down and see how close we are, if at all. Okay, so this one, the glue did let go, not perfectly, mind you. I can feel some of the residue, and there's one spot that seems to be really stuck here. So now, when doing this repair, this isn't 100% necessary. It's something that I like to do because realistically, you might as well start from fresh base and get it laid right out flat. I think it helps a lot. So let me just check now real quick. And this side is still a little stuck, so I'm going to finesse it a bit. A little bit extra paper, but that's okay in this case. This box is so wrecked. It's actually a little bit more damage than I was hoping to use to represent this. But as you can see, this box, every friggin' panel of it is pretty well torched. So the next thing to do is try to get it laid down somewhat flat, because you're going to want to try to work this thing out here next. So get all the flaps flapped out, or at least most of them. You want to at least have the window itself here. Let me try to move in here a little bit better. You want to have at least this window, try to be able to get at it to get around, because we're basically going to do the same process here, which is hit it with some heat and see if we can get the glue to let go. You don't want to get too close to the window. You don't want to be on the window for too long, because it's just plastic, right? So you just want to work it a little bit and then check it and see, check it and see. In this case, this is a very old box. You can actually see the very old glue. There's actually a small chance that this glue might not actually become that loose again, but we'll find out here together. What I'm actually going to do is something that I don't usually do, is I'm actually going to iron out the box itself pre-removal of windows. So this is actually the trick I wanted to show more than anything, was the fact that, yep, you can iron fucking cardboard. I actually saw this on a different collector site. It wasn't for Pops, but a guy had basically Hot Wheels collector. He had a bunch of curved backs, and he ironed them flat without any visual damage to them. So that's where this idea has come. I've actually already done this one. The bottom door here, you can actually see it's gotten quite a bit better. I'm gonna do this side because this is the one that was really rough there in the previous views of the window itself. So just like an iron, you're just going to work it out, or just like clothes rather, you're going to just kind of work it out, find the nice flat spots, and just try to work them. A little bit of pressure, a little bit of time, not too long. This is just paper, remember, but you can do it for a good duration of time. And the other trick here is going to be flipping it over, and we're actually going to iron the other side as well. So bear with me here, and I will do my best to show you. So you gotta be really careful in the window areas. You also have to be very careful in any area where there might be small picks in the box, because the iron will, get stuck inside of that. So there you go. I've actually done it long enough that this glue has become re-adhesive again, and this side is looking actually quite a bit better. I'm very impressed myself already. Now, here's a really good flap to show you. See how curvy that guy is? You see how wonky that thing is? There's biggest thing is getting it to go flat first. I'm actually going to iron it inversely here first, and then flip it over to the other side, just because of the orientation of the curves. It's something you'll get a feel for if you do it a couple times. And the biggest thing about it is just remember, this box was really fucked up. So I mean, what was the other option, right? Leave it, or you can attempt to manipulate it. And this is something that, like, this pop personally for me isn't going to leave my house, so it's not a big deal. I'm not trying to resell this for any whatever, but I do actually know and have seen box repair services on the internet as well, so they are out there. So same flap I just showed you there, that was really, I can't even, I'll actually have to flip it up here to show you. It's actually flatter than fuck now. So there's good representation. So I'm going to continue to work at it here, just kind of see how flat I can get this guy, and without doing any detrimental damage here to hopefully any of the window or anything. Now the cool part is if you happen to ding up the window real bad in this situation, this is the perfect opportunity to do the actual screen replacement if you're going to do it, which is another process I will be going through another day, because I had intended to do it within this video, but very quickly realized that that's not really a possibility. I've got too much else going on. So bear with me here. I'm just going to check the window, make sure I didn't do anything to it. Yeah, it's still good. Glue is becoming a little bit adhesive, a little bit sticky again. But again, we're going to iron this from both sides to try to even them out here. Let's do this top flap. It's really got a curve going. So again, having the towel underneath it is a lot of help, because it gives it some flexibility and stuff like that. It means you're not just doing it on a hard surface. Gives me the ability to push a little bit harder as well. So again, this is So at this point, if you were going to do the window replacement, you're basically just going to try to get this thing as flat as possible, and then you're just going to try to get this thing, as flat as possible, and then simply iron around here until the window becomes loose. With this pop, though, specifically, you can see the discoloration of, you can see the discoloration of the glue, meaning that it is much older. This is a much older pop, too. I mean, Walgreens, most of their stuff now, and number 180, it's quite an old pop. So I'm not really expecting miracles here. I was just hoping for anything better than previous. Okay, so I've done one side of it now. I'm gonna need to give this spot a bit of a break. Apparently I'm warping my table just slightly, so bear with me for a moment. Alright, so still a few spots to look at here. One thing I would suggest too is at different points taking it and just trying to re-square it back up and see how flat it looks to you, because there's only going to be so much you can do. You're never going to get rid of every crease or everything, but you can really try to get the really bad ones there. So I've got a couple more that I'd really like to try to hit here. The problem is they're so close to the window, I've got to actually wait until it cools down to a proper degree here, and then I'm just going to give it one more massive hit here. So I'm just going to take note as to how far out that is, okay? Just so I can try to give it the most heat all at once I can. I'm just going to work it out like this here in the attempts to so as long as this video goes fairly well, which can't see it having too much issue, I plan on doing a couple more in the near future here to both keep myself busy and occupied, as well as help inform the public here a little bit. Just tricks, tips, things I know, things I've seen. You know how it is. So I am just working the window a little bit here just to see if it'll loosen up any. It's actually not a bad one, but I was just seeing from my own knowledge here whether or not the glue is going to let go. And it looks like at this point, yeah. So that's a rule of thumb right here. So if your glue has discolored to the point where it is brown, that means that it probably will not separate. But if it still has a nice clear to yellow to it, like some of the other stuff here does, that should actually become loose enough for you to manipulate again. So, and as you can see, when I took it apart, there was only the one spot where actually where basically the glue didn't let go properly, and I was able to keep the paper on that side, so this side's not bad. It just has kind of the glue and some of the damage residue there, so not too bad. But so let me just try to square this guy up and give you a quick idea as to what it looks like. I had intended to have my hot glue gun out and ready to show you the final result, but I'll just do a quick time lapse here, and you'll never know the goddamn difference. And alright, so the magic of video, I have grabbed myself a glue gun so I can show you guys the basically I just really want to be able to show you how much better it's gotten here. So we'll give it a moment just to warm up the glue gun here. Now I'm going to take some time during that just to do some refolding of it. I'm going to bring it to about 90 degrees and then just a little bit past it, so probably just to give it that natural bend where I can. This flap is still not my favorite, but it's an inside one. I'm going to give it a quick hit here. Just one last hurrah. Just to say I got it as good as I could. There we go. So yeah, going to do them 4 major flaps up first. In some cases, you would definitely end up using you could actually reuse this glue. It would actually re-stick with this process. But because this being an older box and the amount of damage and everything else, I'm going to actually opt to use some new hot glue. So the number one thing is I'm going to get this flap back to just beyond square again, so just past 90 degrees. I don't know what that would be. I'm not a numbers guy. So anyways, I'm actually going to take a bit of time to just see if I can hyperextend some of these curves or these creases. So I'm actually just bending kind of against them slightly just to see if I can get them themselves to sit flat, and I did successfully. So Alright, so the next fun trick is the gluing, which is, if you've ever used a hot glue gun before, this really shouldn't be a thing. It will be if you don't have enough glue in the fucker though. So again, I wonder if my mic was too far away for this situation. So you're going to want to move pretty quick. It's hot glue. It only stays hot for so long. And you have to use your own best judgment on how to get that square and lined up. I use the magic that is my years and years of handicrafts. So I'm going to give it a minute here. That glue job did not live up to my expectations. The glue did in fact dry too quickly. So I'm going to give it a moment here and get some better glue rolling here. Actually, it's looking like now it's ready. So what you're really supposed to do is zigzag it, or at least get her close to the one edge here, because this is the edge that's going to matter here. The faster you can stick her down, the better seal you're going to get. And of course, pressure is always a good thing. So pressure from the inside is always a good thing. Check out the outside. It's about what I expected of it, considering. So now let me just square it back up here and fold it up. Do a quick touch job to this corner here. Because these corners were really damaged to begin with initially. I'm just adding some extra security here because they are pretty loose. Squish the ever-living hell out of it. Alright, so as you can see, this box started off before as pretty far from square. So you can see all the really wonky edges. Like this was the edge that we actually took apart initially because it was just hammered. It is at least square now. It's far from fucking perfect, don't get me wrong, but like the side is pretty true now along here. The bubbles in the front have been reduced quite a bit, so the front is actually almost appealing, except for the minor bits of liquid damage and shit else going on here. This side is about as good as it's ever gonna get as well. Can't really do much about this particular crease because of where it is along the window. Actually, give me a second to try something real quick. No, if you use my what I was saying previously to kind of counter bend some of the creases, I was actually able to give that a little bit better of a straighten. It's still not again perfect, but it is getting close to being square. Like this pop would not sit on the ground before without basically wobbling over, so now it is there. Let me put it back together and show you kind of the final result here. So I'm going to throw Green Lantern back in. We'll even put his original collector's corp card in there, which I have no idea why it's in a Walgreens exclusive. But there is your Green Lantern. He's about as square as he's getting. He can at least now go sit on a shelf without disrupting the entire rest of the crowd there. So he's pretty square, like I said. So pardon me, it looks like I've got to go back to this scene. There you go. Minor hiccups, but things I will iron out in future processes. But yeah, so that is essentially the process I use when I have a really squished up box. Again, this Green Lantern is my own. It is from my own collection, and it's staying in it. So I have no intentions of resale or anything like this. This broadcast is simply for knowledge and give you guys the ability to fix some of your own collection. This process is great for just about any cardboard. I think I did warp my plastic surface on my desk over here that I'm using, but we'll hope that evens out. But anywho, so yeah, this was just an information-based process, or pardon me, broadcast, simply for educational purposes. So try it. Worst case scenario, you ended up with some blown up boxes and some out-of-box pops, but that's what this guy was destined to be otherwise. So I personally think I have, I don't know, probably about 25% better is how much I think that is than before. to each their own. So anyways, join me next time for another one of these more detailed processes. This was just more of a trial and error type situation. So, and to test the first broadcast of it. And yeah. So that being said, I also would like to quickly just plug this Sunday's event, which is superheroes. Lots of superheroes to be had. More to be added. I've got a bunch of Batman coming later today, to be added, as well as some really crazy stuff like this gentleman here who will be joining us, who has yet to be advertised rather, for the show. But this is Panda Pool, the Chase flocked version of Panda Pool. So up in the graily end of Deadpool stuff there for him, as well as some other superhero stuff to be added. So check back often. Talk to you soon.